Now I want to turn the floor over to the descendants of Delilah Pierce and just ask that you, if you'd like, to share some of your memories of her. I know that she was loved by many and respected equally by the masses. I have not encountered one person who has ever had anything ill to say about her. They admire her work, artwork. They loved her as a person. She was known to be very kind and very generous. I know that she, as an artist and aunt, had a great influence on you as an artist. So I just wanted you to share some personal stories about Delilah that we would not otherwise know.
Well, hi everybody. First of all, this is my brother William. This is Delilah Pierce's great nephew. So say hello, William. And that's her niece over there. And it's unfortunate. Well, we're fortunate because we are her family, and she had no children of her own. But you can best believe that each one of her pieces that she developed from the time she started in her life, they were her children. And she put, you can see the care that even before we came possession of all of it, how well that these things were preserved. And so it's just remarkable. I, of course, came along at a time where she and one of her sisters would travel to Massachusetts every summer. So I got the opportunity when I was 7 through teenager to go with her on different summers and spend time there. So on Martha's Vineyard, she had a whole community of artists there as well. And so she would take me to community art fairs or to the community center, and she would let me experience art and what it was. Because I don't, as a child, I remember sitting down and I think I thought about other things. Animals is kind of the major thing that I always thought about, but to introduce me to art. So I would do pictures, and she taught me how to even save those pictures and preserve them as a young person. So, I went through years and years and years. Of course, I wish now in my life that she was around. We had more connection when it came to the inspiration piece, because again, coming through elementary, junior high, and high school in Washington, D.C., the teaching art education was not a priority at all. Children came through and you would see kids draw on paper, but nobody was there inspiring them. There were no teachers that were saying, go for it, you can do it. And so that kind of thing was definitely lost. In every picture, every book we looked at, of course, we were not represented there. There was other culture there. So, but she and a few others that taught education, I think it was just a beautiful thing. Coming through Massachusetts, just all of her work was inspired, the majority of it through there. Some of the pieces you see were inspired by just her looking out of her window in her own neighborhood. You see the forest and the trees, and you see animal pieces. There's this beautiful a picture that she had squirrels in at home, and so that was inspired by that. And I knew Alma Thomas and I knew Lois Jones, and but again, after growing up and saying, wow, I wish I had had more time to be in there. So, but she inspired so many. Everybody was, not only were her paintings for children, but of course every student that she poured into was, I think, considered a child, or considered she had real deep relationships with people like that. My mother will tell you. You want to tell them about your little time in her classroom with her? Yes, yes. Tell them about that. So.
Good evening, all. Well, this certainly has been an inspiration to be here. I feel blessed. Blessed by God. I bless Him. Thank Him for blessing me, blessing my family, and everything that's going on happened here today. The special event for my aunt. I call her Aunt Louise. You know her as Delilah. She was Delilah Louise, but she's been Aunt Louise during my lifetime. But I actually was not side by side with her in her art, with the art career. Now we stayed in touch, but I didn't follow her the whole art way. I'm elementary education way, from college straight on through. So I've been inspired, however, but my daughter basically has picked up all that side of the art. I have a side of art, but not this particular drawing, painting, da-da-da. So it's been a blessing, and I certainly thank Myrtis for having gotten all this collection out of storage. It's been in storage. Some of it has hung at home, but much of it has been in storage. So it's all out and displayed, and it's good to see. And maybe some that after years, some you don't even remember seeing yourself. But I even learned a lot of history as well as you did today. I heard a lot of history that I need to go back and reread it myself. Not reread, but read.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Once again, Mom Sentiments, thank you so much for coming today. But this is an interesting moment to sit here and listen and watch. That when you're so close to someone as a family member, sometimes you don't even realize who they were. In this particular way, she was an unassuming, very humble person, and she didn't talk about herself. She was more interested in you than she was in talking about herself. And so, since she passed, and when she passed, and had no children, and all of this was left behind, it's paralyzing because you don't know what to do with it. There's no obvious answer as to what to do with it. And so along through the years, and the Lord has kind of helped us along the way to know that something's here that's very important. Not just as an asset. I mean, that's a part of it. That had to be evaluated as an asset. But at the same time, this is history. And this is education. And this is community. And this is race. This is a lot going on inside all this. But you just don't know what to do with it. And so it's been an absolute blessing meeting Myrtis. And welcoming someone in who had the expertise to help you evaluate what you're looking at, what you're handling, what your hands are on. I mean, we've unpacked so much stuff that she had packed away and preserved so well. I mean, you think about that, that's one lesson. It mattered to her. She knew the importance of what God had allowed her to do in her life. And she packaged it well, and wrapped it well, and chronologized it well. She put it together well, left it behind. And I know in her heart hoped that those she entrusted would do the right thing with it. And Myrtis has just been great in helping us understand what the right thing is around that. Whether it's the financial aspect of it or more importantly, the historic aspect of it. And as the sister just spoke about the educational aspect of it. So we're growing and knowing as all of this is unpacked and brought out in the way that it should be. And so that's a beautiful, beautiful opportunity. She meant so much to us in our life. My mom is very humble, but I do believe that even my Aunt Louisa's teaching inspired her to go in that direction as a teacher. She worked in a public school system in D.C. and started in Virginia and finished up in D.C. and as a school teacher and impacted the lives of so many children. And I know that came down from her aunt, inspiring her in that way. And she's just a wonderful intellect. And if I could say there was one area that probably impressed me with her and impacted me more than anything else, was that she was a thinker. And she would have conversations, with me at times. And it inspired me to think, to want to think, and to know. And I had my first trip to Martha's Vineyard with her. I was about 18, and alone, just went with her and stayed up there 2 weeks. I didn't know what in the world I was going to do with her for 2 weeks. And they just didn't understand. I'm used to running and doing my thing, and I didn't know what I was going to do because she was a very contained, very proper, very classy woman. But she didn't play. She didn't play. She was clear and very focused and disciplined. So I'm like, I don't know, am I going to be in prison up here on this house? But I'm telling you, it was one of the greater experiences because I got to know her as a human being in that way. and just a loving, kind, wonderful person to be around and to see all of this. And it's just wonderful. Come to pass this way is wonderful, and we just want to continue to walk it out. And for all of you in the room, thank you so much for all your contributions and what you do in this area for our community. And we need it. We need it. It's a part of what is not just establishing where we've come from, but really, really, really making rock solid a plan going forward. And we, as a community, I'm a pastor in D.C., and it's so important. And that we trace where we've been, but also begin to talk about where we're going. Take ownership of that for ourselves as a people. So God bless you all. Thank you so much. God bless you too.